What message do you want to give to the far right people?
The message I want to give to the far right people is we're here to take over your country. You can't stop us.
All right, that's enough of that. Welcome to the show, everybody. We've got some exploding news of more non-white criminals in the UK killing whites and citizens. All right. I think this is when they... See, because the normal British police, as can be seen, standing over here in their yellow vests, are totally useless because not even British cops are allowed to have guns. That's how much the British government fears their own people. There's a guy, there's the gun, the knife man. Knife man. Yeah, see, if this was Texas, you know, somebody would pull out a gun and shoot him. But if this was Texas, this guy would probably have a gun too. So... you know, this is what happens. But knives are illegal. I don't know if you guys know. Does that guy, let's just take a look. Does this look like a British citizen? Does that look like a normal? Does that look like a white guy? It doesn't look like a white guy to me. Does it look like a white guy to you? I'm asking because they said that the guy was British, but I know that British people are white. So of course this happens and everybody starts thinking, yeah, it's a terrorist attack. I mean, you know, we've had endless counts of Allahu Akbar stabbings coming out of Europe, you know, France and Germany, you know, German mayor stabbed by her own 2 migrant children that she adopted. This waste of human life, Narinder Kaur, she was made famous by the Big Brother TV and she's been hoeing it up. She's in her 50s. That doesn't mean she's going to stop hoeing it up because, you know, we live in an upside down world where women are allowed to be hoes past the point where they should actually be grandmas. This is her.
There's something I've noticed about people's unconscious bias, and you need to check yours, is that when I was a panelist...
I do need to check my unconscious bias because I'm pretty conscious of my bias, and it's formed from actual statistics and facts, like how many brown people kill white people every day. So take your stupid accent because you really should sound like dicka, 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 dicka. And now you're appropriating the British accent and you're made to make it ugly. The British accent used to be associated with intelligence because it was associated with British people. But now it's going to be associated with you lot and everybody's just going to think that they're mentally retarded. So that's who she is. She takes every opportunity to try to shame white British people because she knows she's wrong. She knows she's a visitor in their country and she doesn't want to be reminded of this because to be reminded of this is to be reminded of the ways her own people have failed to create a society that is anywhere on the level of the British society. So her and the rest of the lot have to invent this mythology for themselves that they are just as British as the British who built Britain, and they're a huge contribution, and the only reason that actual Brits have established a society better than them, or doing better than them, is because of unconscious bias and racism, which she is going to dedicate her life to destroying. I don't know why I turned into a Yiddish over there. I'm not consistent with the accents. Leave me alone. Okay, there's only so much I can do around here. That happens. Everybody's out there like, okay, this had to have been a terror attack. And immediately, as soon as it comes out that the guy was born in Britain, she immediately comes out and goes, oh, look at those right-wing knuckle draggers. Knuckle draggers meaning like we're like cavemen dragging our knuckles. We're the cavemen, but you guys don't even have indoor plumbing. Spare me. Give me a break. What does she say? British born, not migrant, not terror related. She's a Sikh. She has Punjabi parents, but it doesn't matter to her because she's going to align with anyone who's any shade of brown. And then these people want to call you racist because you keep pointing out how these guys are the ones who are doing the crimes. But look at how racist she is. It doesn't matter that this guy literally stabbed some people to death. She needs to make the point that he was born in Britain. She needs to align with him because he's brown. She had another post just like that. Oh, there we go. Where she's aligning with Mamdani all the way in New York. He's a Muslim. She's aligning with him because he's a shade of brown. So you got to understand, the whole rest of the world is going to align together because they're all brown. So it's going to literally be one tiny pocket of whites who was smart enough to wake up and see the writing on the wall. The Japanese, who have been racist from the beginning of time, and that's why they're still Japanese, and the Chinese, who are going to basically be in Africa exploiting and committing all kinds of human war crimes. The Browns are all going to align together thinking somehow if we all align together, we can win. And they will win, but their victory will be short because as soon as the electricity goes out and they suddenly realize none of them know how it works, we're back to square zero. Also, I don't know why I'm shouting. I get very excited about these things and then I get loud because I'm a New Yorker. This actually isn't even shouting in New York. This is just a regular voice. So give me a break. Anyway, this was the photo. I just paused the video. You guys can clearly see the guy is brown. They don't care. Now, the other part of the gaslighting is she wants to act like people are just racist for assuming that the stabbing was a terrorist attack or was done by a migrant, when we literally have case after case every day coming out of these foreigners who are killing native Britons. Like this guy, Wayne Broadhurst. This was just a few days ago, right? October 28th, maybe I think it happened October 26th or 27th. There was a video again. He was out walking his dog. He was stabbed. He was targeted by a migrant because he was white. There was no beef. There were no words exchanged. The guy, the crazy migrant who are there to take over, stabbed him because he was brown. That's it. Okay? So don't let people like whatever the hell her name is gaslight you into thinking there's something wrong with you for that being your first assumption when you hear about one of these crimes. And then we end up being right because he actually is not British. Sorry, just because you have British citizenship does not make you British. And it's similar to when the Southport stabbings happened, when that lunatic went on the loose and stabbed and killed several young British children, which was horrific. People, immediately when it happened, people were like, oh, it was a terror attack. It was one of these migrants. They killed the kids. Turns out it was this guy, Alex Rudacubana. I don't know how to say that, okay? He happened to have been born in Britain, but he was an anchor baby. His parents were immigrants. Yes, he was born in Britain, but he clearly is not British. And they once again, same person, try to gaslight you. It's not the migrants. You see, it's this guy was born in Britain, okay? Nobody's falling for this shit anymore. That's the great news. We're like, okay, he was born in Britain. Let's see a picture. It's like when they told you about all the American soldiers who did all the rape after in World War II, and then you go look up the race of the soldiers who did this, and they are predominantly not white, and you go, huh, was it American soldiers? Was it? Or was it a particular ethnic racial group that likes to rape and do crimes? So I'm pretty sure his parents were, they were from Rwanda, I'm pretty sure. Let me look this up before I start spitting real misinformation. Yep, there we go. There we go. Is a British national of Rwandan heritage. I'm sorry, I don't care. I genuinely don't care. This anchor baby shit needs to be over. If you prove yourself to be a detriment to the country that you moved in, and you've only been there 1 or 2 generations, it doesn't matter that you were born there. That's the truth. That's the truth. I'm sorry. And the other part that, they think they're making this whole point by being like, They were actually born in Britain. What they're actually revealing to us is how much genetics and race actually determine their behavior. Because here's this guy, okay, this Southport guy who was born in Britain, raised in Britain, and he still, at 17 years old, carries out a brutal knife attack on a Taylor Swift. I guess Taylor Swift just triggered him. He's like, white girls. And the victims who died were 6 years old. It was a 6-year-old baby King, 7-year-old Elise Stancope, and 9-year-old Elise De Silva. So 3 young white girls attacked only because they were white. Now, of course, the media is not going to say that because they want to pretend that the only racial crimes that exist are from whites towards non-whites, and the truth is exactly the opposite. And the only thing they're showing us is that it doesn't matter if they're born in your country or if they've been there for a few generations. Their racial predispositions will still ultimately win and take over. So actually, it's more of an argument for remigration, no matter how long they've been there. Sorry, right? It's an argument for remigration along racial lines. That's it. That's what it is. And you really can't fault the British people for wanting that. The only people that fault them are the people who benefit and profit from chaos and mayhem and making a whole global homo regime where they can rule over a bunch of slave class. Remember when we were like young, guys? Some of you guys may be young, but I don't think so. Remember when we were young? We were like maybe in our teens, and they were like telling us how, you know, because of technology and travel, like the whole world's going to be connected. You're going to be connected to people on the other side of the world, and there will be no differences. And we were like, I don't know, 14, 15, and we were kind of like, I don't know if that's a good thing. They're like, trust us, it's a good thing. And then bam, all we do is get scammed by Indians and murdered by Rwandans who are British. Thanks. No thanks. I think I'd like to live in like a little corner of the world. England is a beautiful country because the English have built a beautiful country. And you know what happens when the English go move somewhere else? They build beautiful things that look like England. You know what happens when Rwandans and Punjabis and Sikhs and Indians go to another country? They build India and Punjabis, but you guys get the point, okay? So it's happening pretty heinously. Here was a call where a London woman calls into a TV show and talks about how bad the crime is where she is.
I live in the borough right next to Hillingdon.
Yeah.
And I moved into my house in 2019. My local shop, there's been 3 stabbings, 1 murder since then. Wow. My friend was murdered last year up on the high street. Girl I know was murdered in Southport Park. The government are failing us. I'm so scared for my children. I have a 22-year-old son, and I'm begging him to move out of the country.
Oh my goodness, I feel for you.
What are these politicians doing to us? They're putting our children in so much danger. They're putting everyone in danger, and they're not doing nothing to help us.
And that's the thing a lot of us feel. That, you know, how many is too many?
1.
They're pushing us to do something that we don't want to do. We are peaceful people. British people never revolt against their government.
Yeah.
They're going to push us through it because they're not listening to us. Our friends, our family are dying. I had a cousin murdered 20 years ago who was stabbed to death, and nothing has changed, Julia.
I'm so sorry, Sarah. I'm sure I speak for everyone listening and watching right now. My heart goes out to you, and that's the reality.
I don't leave the house without a man.
You're that worried.
So everyone I know is getting stabbed.
Yeah, she's that worried. Are you paying attention?
This is where I live, not where the politicians live.
Do you think that's part of the issue, that they don't live in the real world?
Keir Starmer, if you're listening to this, please do something.
Oh my God, these people don't get it, man. You don't get it. The point is what they're doing. They know, they want you dead and raped and murdered. Like, that's the thing. That's the thing that the British don't get, the French aren't getting. Maybe the French get it a little bit more. Germans, Americans aren't getting. They don't get that this is what the government wants to do. They want to do this to you. They're like, anytime you object, they're calling you racist, not because you're racist, but because you're objecting to your own extinction.
Broken the law in my life. I've been a law-abiding citizen. I've been a civil servant. Please do something. It's us that are dying on the streets. You talk about being racist. We're not racist. My sister's mixed race.
Oh boy. Yeah. See, it's like, this is the thing white people got to get. You got to stop with the being, like, they call you racist. Just dust it off your shoulder like it's nothing. They're only calling you racist because they want to signal to the other NPC communist lunatics that you're a safe target to kill. That's the whole point. That's why we resist it, okay? But the reason that white people around the world don't want to see this is because it is a kind of hopeless situation then. When you realize that no one is coming, you can't just sit around and wait, and then you have to start thinking about things to do, and the avenues of things to do aren't very nice, and you have to risk your life, your freedom. You really got to risk a lot to fight back a government. A government is not going to pat you on the back for opposing them, especially not a tyrannical, oppressive, Marxist, communist government that we have. And make no mistake, this is Marxism 101, okay? What does she say? I'm a law-abiding citizen. I've never broken a law in my life. Correct. They want you dead. They are specifically releasing the criminals because the criminals are hunting down and killing the law-abiding citizens. Those are the people they don't want. They can have the criminals go around and do all that, and then when the time comes, when they're in power, they'll just kill the criminals or lock them up. It's what the communists have done from time immemorial. It is a satanic, evil, inverted system. Satan likes the people who do crime. He likes unleashing those people because they prey on the innocent, on those who are obeying God. That's the world we're living in. And you got to realize it's not going to change by you crying to these politicians. Okay? It's just not going to change. So you need to start thinking about other things. If a certain person were to rise up in these countries and offer the people real solutions, that person would be elected into office. So you need to start looking for who those people are. It's not going to be Keir Starmer or even the other dude, what's his name? I forgot. Anyway, there is a guy who's pretty good. Steve Laws is a good one to follow. He's a leader of, I don't know exactly what he's doing, but he's a British guy and he posts the truth. He does not shy away when people call him racist or anti-Semitic. He knows the truth. He doesn't care. He wants to save his country. Okay, and then there's a bunch of these guys. You follow Steve Laws, you know, he's going to show you this. And then we can also follow Americans on that same level. It's never going to be the mainstream politicians they're pushing out. This is a perfect time for me to remind you guys of my sponsor, AntelopeHillPublishing.com. Here you will find books that tell you about other historical times where similar situations have happened. Leading thinkers of the time have broken down that whether you vote left or you vote right, you're going to get the same agenda because both parties were working for the same groups of people. So Antelope Hill Publishing, use promo code LEO. I'm being told it's 10% off. Yeah. Why should you use AntelopeHillPublishing.com? Because we have to support each other's businesses. These people are not going to be on the New York Times bestsellers list because these people are telling you who's running the New York Times. And the New York Times doesn't want that. They want you to believe that they're an unbiased newspaper that reports accurately on the facts, and you can trust them. So you can trust them when they say there's weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. which they did say, even though they had no evidence. And then when it turned out it was wrong, they go, well, our source. Okay? So please check them out. They got some really awesome books. They have board games. Games? Yes, they have board games. They're working together with Incel Riot Studios. So yeah, look at that. I like that. Portland Occupied Zone. That has got to be fun. I'm going to get me one of those. And there are also a game called Civil War II. It's currently out of stock, but they are fundraising. So you can sign up for that list. Don't forget, go to antelopehillpublishing.com. Oh yes, I was finding you people to follow. So we can cut till I find it, George. Let's see. Trying to find it. Here's one, right? PatTV.uk.
I stand in front of them, my face out, my name out. I do not care. I want these people gone from my country.
Excellent. See, it's changing, okay? They're going to try and arrest these people. You should just know that. You're not going to succeed. Here we go. That's who I was talking about. Rupert Lowe. He's running part of Restore Britain. Like, these are the kind of people you got to be looking for. This guy is excellent. He's already leading the charge on remigration. Yeah, you guys can't just like sit on your hands and hope somebody's going to save you, okay? All of these people have hijacked all of your political systems, all of your universities, all of your media. They hijacked it because they got involved while we were thinking, like, I just want to raise a family. But these people don't just want to raise a family. They want to kill your family. So you guys are going to have to get off your ass if you want your country back. And women, you got to just realize we're not going to, you know, we can vote for now, but eventually that's got, because a lot of this is caused by women, and they're overly empathetic. Oh, please help them. They're poor and they're brown and it's no fault of their own. Oh my God, I'm being raped and murdered. Ladies, it's just women are easier to trick. They're easier to be foot soldiers for a communist Marxist takeover. Now, the thing is, they're going to call you people like Narinda Zurumpur, whatever the hell her name is, are going to call you racist when they're fellow Browns. And since you have affiliated yourself with all Browns, I now don't need to make a distinction between them. So you can't come back to me now when I show you a video of Muslims saying that they want to take over and destroy Britain and be like, yeah, but I'm not Muslim. I don't care. You said all Browns together. You got their back. You affiliated yourself with them. I don't need to make a distinction. I'm just a racist anyway. You can't tell the difference. So let's see what these guys had to say.
What message do you want to give to the far-right people?
The message I want to give to the far-right people is we're here to take over your country. You can't stop us. You can try, but we're here to uphold Sharia law, and yeah, that's it.
All right. What message do you want to give to the...
They're literally telling you to your face, okay? And see, these guys, they're completely backed up by a system that wants to use them as foot soldiers to destroy white Western society. They can speak openly about this stuff with no fear of the hammer coming down on them because that's what they're there to do. Now, they don't realize that they're just foot soldiers and eventually they're going to be subject to the same, globo-homo tyrannical regime, but it doesn't matter to them because they can't think, 15 minutes into the future. And it doesn't matter to us either because whether they are witting or unwitting soldiers of the enemy, they're still soldiers. They are still a danger to you and your family. Here's another one, right? These guys are out in England. They are marching. They're a bunch of Muslims, right? And of course, you've got the white liberals marching with them. And the white liberal says we're on the same side. And the Muslim says, no, we're not. And it's like, it can't be any more obvious that it's not about ideology. It's not about equality. It's not about we were oppressed. It's not about please help us. It's literally about we hate you because you're white. We want you to die or submit to our Sharia bullshit law, or we're going to kill you. Because this is literally, you can predict a person's future behavior by what they've done. And this is what they do in their own country. So why would they not do it here?
No need for that. We're on the same side, bro. No, we're not. Yes, we are, bro.
He still doesn't get it, by the way. He still doesn't get it. Still, no, yes, we are, bro. No, you're literally not. You're probably a weak beta male with not enough testosterone, right? And you're doing the thing that women do, which is trying to ally yourself with the forces of power, hoping that they'll recognize you as one of the good ones and won't ass rape you when the time comes. You're in for a sad surprise. Reminds me of this time in BLM 2020 when same thing, okay, you had a bunch of white over here being like, this is so good. We support your right to protest. We're with you. And the BLM cucks go ahead and receive a nice brick through the window. Smart.
Why are you? We're on your side. We're on your side. Holy shit! We're on your side.
We're on your side. Please don't hurt us. You see, this is why they have feminized all the men, because it's something women do. We're on your side. Please don't. They don't care. When are you going to get it through your stupid head? They don't. This is, and I hope that these guys, this is 2020, it's 2025. I hope that these guys have been radicalized to the extreme and are no longer under these delusions and understand that allying yourself with the forces that want you dead is only going to lead to your destruction more rapidly. Doesn't preserve anything. So your only hope, as much as you don't want it to be, is fighting back. That's it. That's your only hope. This is a good time to remind you guys to go to my website, leonardaisfunny.com. Sign up for my newsletter. Sign up to be on my mailing list. I'm going to be releasing uncensored videos through my website. That should be up and running by the end of next week. So if you want to know about that, if you want to stay in touch, listen, I have about 315,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I don't have 315,000 emails. So what that means is when the inevitable ban hammer comes down, you are not going to get to see any of my content because you're not going to know that it's up on my website. So if you don't want that to be happening to you, if you don't want to be cut off from my loud, obnoxious voice telling you the truth, calling out the BS the way it is, then go to my website and put your email in. I don't spam you. At most, you're going to get one email a week with my tour dates, with some promo, with a video that's been released. But it's also the way for you to get notifications when I start uploading my uncensored videos. And it's where all my stuff will go because, like Sam Hyde says, you gotta be prepared that they may take you out on every level, and so you can't be dependent on the system. And right now, you guys are making me dependent on the system because you don't want to go to leonardaisfunny.com and put in my email because my email is so precious, but you don't mind putting in your email to whatever porn sites you're going to. So come on. So this is the future that we're literally facing. This is in Europe. Okay? They get, on average, 1,300 African men per day since 2008, okay? And sometimes it could be 5,000 men. Now, you got to understand that this is systematically designed because these are Africans, okay? They've never crossed the Sahara Desert or set sail on any of the seas because they couldn't figure it out. And they still can't. So somebody's helping them. Nobody needs 1,300 African men. Not even Africa. That's why they're leaving. If this doesn't horrify you, this could be coming to a town near you. You can look outside your nice, once suburban town, and there will be tents and tents of this. And your children will not be safe to go to school without getting assaulted, raped, molested, stabbed, robbed, whatever they feel like doing. And this will just continue to multiply. So you got to get off your phone asses and you got to figure out how to take back your systems, how to vote for the real people. Stop being fooled, you know. I said something about don't vote for Ma'am Donnie, and everyone was like, oh my God, so you support Israel? So you're an Israel, so you want to vote Cuomo? When Curtis Sliwa is a totally valid option where people could vote for somebody that neither side wanted, okay? Ma'am Donnie, clear Soros-funded puppet. The agenda is clear. He's doing all the stuff the communists do. I don't know why you guys can't see it. I don't know what, you know, you call yourselves racists and you can't even do a little pattern recognizing. You should really be ashamed of yourselves. You should be ashamed. Falling for the dichotomy. It's a false dichotomy every time, guys. You got to get your own people, okay? And you don't have to look for these big things. You can look at the little things. How do you get people on, you know, your school boards to stop pushing, get rid of the drag queen story hours in your own little local place? How do you elect Congress people or legislators? It doesn't have to be the tippity top. Build it up, because otherwise we're going to be, this is where we're going to be. We are going to be, and then you'll realize that Africa is not destitute because it's Africa. Because America will become Africa, England will become Africa, France will become Africa, Germany will become Sharia law, whatever, right? It doesn't matter. It's all the same. They've all allied together. That's my info for you guys today. Goodbye.